Changing School Culture. Skian in 2004 points out that it is critical that leaders recognize that changing culture doesn't occur overnight. It is a process, and he offers a number of specific suggestions about how this process can be systematically implemented. Most of the people, teachers, students, and parents who collectively determine what the school's culture is like have limited incentive to listen to you. Managing school's culture is not dependent on the authority that has based on your position, but can only be affected by increasing your influence over behaviors, beliefs, relationships, and other complex dynamics present in the school that are often unpredictable. What leaders can do. First, recognize the need to use an inclusive process for planning any change. Second, provide opportunity for teachers to talk about the change and discuss the implications for their works. Third, be intentional in how you talk with people and how you interact. Use each encounter as an opportunity to model the behaviors you desire. And lastly, commit to opportunities for continued discussion of the reform once it is implemented. Here are the steps in changing school culture. First, create a crisis of faith to look with new eyes at the world around you and generate some tentative theories. Second, compare these lessons to those implicit in both your aspirations for the school and in your current behaviors and activities. And lastly, create a consensus in terms of aspirations that not only addresses the gaps but also builds on current strengths. Transforming school culture. There are six key strategies to develop collaborative school cultures. First, strengthen the school's culture. Second, stimulate and reinforce cultural change through structural collaboration. Third, foster staff development. Fourth, encourage direct and frequent communication about cultural norms, values, beliefs resulting in shared vision. Fifth, develop leaders at all levels. Sixth, empower staff and give autonomy. Now, let's move on to the organizational climate of schools. To understand what the organizational climate definition is, we should begin by reading an interpretation from one of the most respected authors on human resources, Professor Edalberto Chavinato. According to him, a set of measurable properties of the perceived work environment, directly or indirectly created by individuals who live and work in this environment, and that influences the motivation and behavior of these people. In this definition of organizational climate, we can note two striking features. First, the organizational climate is a concept perceived by employees. Importantly, it is dependent on a value judgment which can vary greatly from person to person. Second, the organizational climate affects productivity, motivation, and employee behavior. Besides these two factors, it is interesting to note some others to understand fully what the organizational climate definition is. Now let's move on to the main features of organizational climate definition. It is a perception of the work environment. It is a psychological atmosphere. It is a quick picture of the relationship between the organization and its employees. It is a set of properties that can be measured by the correct instruments. It is related to the quality and suitability of the work environment. It has to do with the support that employees feel they receive from the organization. The organizational structure strongly influences the organizational climate. The organizational climate is a reflection of the degree of employee motivation. It has positive and negative effects on people's behavior in the workplace. It is concerned with large unit. It characterizes properties of an entire organization of major subunits. It describes a unit of organization rather than evaluate it or indicates emotional reaction to it. It arises from routine organizational practices that are important to the organization and its members. It influences members' behaviors and attitudes. Now, let's move on to the types of organizational climate of school. First, we have the open school climate. Open school climate is characterized by teacher relations that are professional, collegial, friendly, and committed to the education of students. The principal is supportive and professional and does not restrict or direct teachers with orders. The second type of organizational climate of school is closed school climate. Closed school climate is characterized by teachers' relations that are disengaged, distant, suspicious, and not professional. The principal is directive, restrictive, and not supportive. The third type of organizational climate of school is healthy school climate. A healthy school climate is characterized by institutional integrity. Teachers are protected from disruptive outside forces. The principal has influence with superiors, gets needed resources, and has an integrated leadership style that is concerned with both the task at hand and the social well-being of teachers. Morale is high and there is a general press for academic achievement by teachers, parents, and students. The last type of organizational climate of school is unhealthy school climate. An unhealthy school climate is vulnerable to disruptive outside forces. Principal has little influence with superiors, resources are scarce, and the principal neither sets direction nor supports the teachers. Morale is poor and there is limited attention to academic matters because the teacher had given up.